Uganda. We come to you live from Nile Avenue. That is where our headquarters are located. So it is, do not forget that we are still in Ramadan and the Lenten season. And it is the 20th day for our brothers, the Muslims, inshallah. They have only 10 days left. And for the Christians, we do have over 20 days because ours lasts over 40 days. So join us as we take you throughout a lot of what is happening on the national or the local scene and international scene, not forgetting the business world and the sports world. We bring you the latest of all the events as they evolve, as you need to get to be in the know of what is happening all over the world. So welcome back. For those of you specifically who managed to make it at Kololo Independence Grounds here in Uganda, that is where the main celebrations for the International Women's Day took place. And we saw the Vice President who delivered the speech of the President, that is Major Retired Jessica Alupo, during the national commemoration of International Women's Day at Kololo Independence Grounds in Kampala. That was yesterday, as the President stressed that affirmative action was introduced to bring women to the forefront through measures such as awarding girls 1.5 additional points for university entry and enabling them to participate in politics. And the President stressed that they have also additional seats which they compete for, and the way they have been able to increase their numbers in public office, and women who have proved to be better leaders and managers. Now, that was the highlight for me. The President coming out and saying women do make better leaders and managers more than the men. I can't wait to hear what Robert has to say about this. But my name is Joan Murungi. Good morning. It is a fresh start to the week, and it is the 9th of March 2026. Good morning once again, and I'm with Robert and Nyonyi Tono. How are you, Robert?
Fine. It is a new week.
Surprisingly, I tried to look at your status and I did not see you celebrate any woman. Did you block me from viewing your status? Oh.
Well, I just didn't want to take the social media bit of it.
Oh, okay.
But I celebrated my daughter.
Gavi?
That is my daughter, Vanya.
Vanya, oh. Why do I always think she's called Gavi instead of Vanya?
Gavi is the boy, Vanya is the girl. Okay. Now I celebrated Vanya. I celebrated my mother.
Okay.
I celebrated my better half.
Did you just celebrate them with words, poems, or you sent them some money?
No, actually, I took my daughter out.
Wow,
the two of us.
Present father at that.
I took my daughter out.
That's inspiring.
Because unlike the mother has gone out all her life, I want to believe, even before I met her. But my daughter, it was interesting, dad and daughter talk. And of course, you know, daughters, hope my son is not anyways in school. Daughters are so close to us fathers.
Yeah, and it happens that way. The boys are closer to their mothers.
So that's how I celebrate Women's Day. But also, for me, I chose to celebrate women in those professions that are male-dominated.
Yeah.
For example, women engineers. And I want to begin those at the lower level. You find a woman today climbing an electric pole. Why not celebrate that when even many of us fear heights to climb up? I was moving through town. There is one building they were cleaning the glass. This building has NSSF.
Okay.
Yes, it's tall. And when I looked up, there was a woman in that trail that they use to be lifted up. And I was like, what a hero. You know, when we talk about women who play soccer, our team, you know, one time it has done more than the male side of it.
True.
Now,
the she cranes.
The she cranes. So there are those women that drive buses. I feel very comfortable if I'm going to Mombasa or Nairobi and it's a woman driving.
Stop, Robert. I've seen so men get worried when they realize it is the woman who's going to see them through to Mombasa.
I don't, because I know women are more careful on the road. That's why you find if you're lucky and you're buying a second-hand car in Uganda, You know, there are two sides. We have a second-hand car. When someone says, I'm from the Bond, I've bought a brand new car.
Yeah.
These are second-hand cars from Japan. But now if you're buying a second-hand car from Uganda and your target is being driven by a woman, usually that car is in good shape, good mechanical condition. Even when it comes to finances, there are better managers than men.
I agree.
We must accept. That's why there are grouping, small circles. First they used to call them Negina, now they are formalized and all that. You go to a female circle and you'll be shocked how much money. Usually I'm invited as a guest of honor.
Okay.
But you hear these village women talk about, I do a radio show where I have a big listenership of women because in agriculture. Now when they invite you, ngo mugenyi omukuru, when they stand up usually in December and you see these funny, sorry to use that word, you know, those local women, the one that put on gomesi everywhere. Then one stands up there treasured and says, we have 30 million, 70 million, no government hand. And you look at the women around that have saved that money, and she tell you this year alone, in a circle of 30 women, they have 70 million. Now go to the circles of men.
Problems, so and so Godwin has not paid their loan, Arafat is absent.
For the men it is a mess.
No contact, and it speaks volumes. You know, men have an issue with paying back money. What's with you,
I think it's that so many responsibilities that men sometimes
have. That as an excuse
because,
for the
for
money,
example, in Kampala here, a man will pay rent, he'll buy food, he'll pay school fees, he'll have the water bill, he'll have the electricity bill, and what does the woman have?
So does it mean you have to borrow money from me and not pay back?
So at the end of the day, sometimes the man may have these challenges, but a woman is in a comfort zone. Okay. Yes, Jojo, you come, you work. If you're married, Mr. could even be the one fueling your car.
Perfect.
You know, even when you knock someone, you just pick a phone. Leave alone insurance, you call, honey, they have knocked me, I'm leaving the car, send your mechanic. You know, so all these fall to the man. So that's a lot of responsibility. No wonder when I saw the floods in Kampala on Saturday, I want to call upon government. I want to call upon KCCA. Let's look for the root cause of these floods.
I happened to see on TikTok the tycoon of Ham Shopping Grounds, that is Mr. Ham, trying to take a video of the floods from where they orchestrate from towards his buildings, and the people termed as he is taking evidence that you should not castigate him, that is because of his buildings that they are
Well, for me, I don't want to involve because I'm not an engineer and I don't have the fact.
You're not an architect at that.
But whatever it is, I call upon government. Abantu bafa. These people's shops is money. Most of the traders, most of us in business, we own loans. Ask us, we own loans. And the way we get money, bank zitubanja, we are on loans. We should come to the root cause of this. Let's invest, and government is losing. You're not going to come to my shop and demand for that license. To be honest, and demand for license when I've been in floods like this.
I'm on the same page with you.
Then finally,
Robert,
and a quick one. This destruction of the building around St. Barikudembe. Still traders are suffering. You know, but Taro, let me say this politely. Jojo and people watching us and the authorities that be. Whenever people are getting out of jobs under unclear circumstance, says, you are going to breed crime at its best. No one is frustrated like a young man who saved money, began a business, and he loses it in one day in such things.
But of course, KCCA came out and isolated themselves from the eviction that happened at Wasafi Market. But Robert,
when the ED came there, during the...
Now, what do you have on the local scene?
Let's even do news.
You seem so spiteful. What is happening in Uganda?
No. We should think for the plight of the poor. We should. It is time we do. Uganda has commemorated Women's Day with a pointer at government boosts of prioritizing programs that eliminate poverty, empower women to improve their living standards. The Parish Development Model, Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program, and GROW. Youth livelihood, and which are all meant to empower women economically. President Yoweri Museveni, represented by the Vice President, Jessica Alupo, said when families become wealthier, they will solve many problems at household level. On scaling investment to accelerate justice for all women and girls, government established gender-based violence courts, legal aid services expanded to rural areas, and put in place Equal Opportunities Commission to eliminate discrimination. The representative from the development partners and the United Nations country team said the initiative of special gender-based violence sessions have helped reduce case backlog in courts. They recommended that special attention be put on people at risk of exclusion from justice. The chairperson, National Women Council, Farida Kimbo, said as women, they call on the 12th Parliament to prioritize reviewing of all bills that are gender responsive and also strengthen affirmative action measures. Authorities have arrested a man who has been accused of defrauding health professionals by imposing as a government inspector. Allied Health Professionals Council of Uganda, operating under the Ministry of Health, warns clinical professions to renew their practicing license to avoid falling prey to impersonators. The warning follows the arrest of Christopher Alinda, detained at Nsanji police station. Police said Alinda allegedly obtained money from several health professionals as he pretended to be part of an official inspection team. Police reports show the prime suspect and accomplices will appear in court to face charges of fraud and impersonation. Authorities said cases of conmen continue to rise across the country, with many people losing money and property to fraudulent schemes. Officials from the Allied Health Professionals Council are urging clinical professionals to renew licenses early and always verify the identity of inspection teams before making any payments. Leaders from Makerere University Business School equipped students with skills in environmental conservation. They noted with concern that forests contain indigenous trees and vegetation are increasingly being destroyed, a situation that could negatively impact the tourism sector if not addressed. During a training, experts from different organizations equipped the students on how tourism can be promoted through environmental protection. They also trained on strategies to combat environmental degradation. The chief guest, Professor Moses Muhwezi, emphasized promoting practical skills development in line with the new education curriculum. The commissioner from the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, George Owesigire, encouraged the students to remain dedicated and be innovative so as to grow professionally. The organizers of the training, Jackie Nabuga, said the initiative ensures that students graduate with practical skills and hands-on experience. Now, finally, from the local scene, Mulago National Referral Hospital has attained International Organization for Standardization certificate, making a major milestone in improving healthcare quality and safety standards in Uganda. The certification under the Integrated Management System includes Quality Management, ISO 9001, Occupational Health and Safety, ISO 45001, and Environmental Management, ISO 14001. The officials said the recognition confirms that the hospital meets international standards in service delivery, workplace safety and environment management. Dr. Byanyima said the certification is expected to strengthen patient care and improve hospital systems, but warned that Sustaining these standards will require increased government funding and investment. The certification process was supported by the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, which oversees quality assurance across institutions in the country. Mulago remains Uganda's largest national referral hospital, serving thousands of patients every year. Now, let's see what the traveler has for us.
Swiftly moving on to what the foreign news is having this early morning. We are beginning off with rather a dejected report about Rihanna, the musician there, as there in Los Angeles, the Beverly Hills of pop superstar Rihanna was hit by gunfire, as police said so. Officers from the Los Angeles Police Department responded to reports of gunfire at 13:15 local time yesterday. A suspect was located and taken into custody. A police official told the BBC's U.S. partner, CBS News, that the home targeted belonged to Rihanna. No one was injured in the incident. Rihanna was in the mansion at the time. A law enforcement source told the Los Angeles Times. Last September, the star gave birth to her third child, a girl, with partner A$AP Rocky. The couple, who also share two sons, Riot and Riza, announced Rihanna's latest pregnancy at last year's Met Gala. The couple's baby news was not the first time they made headlines in 2025. In February, A$AP Rocky was found not guilty of hiring a gun at a former friend in a trial that saw Rihanna bring her two sons to court. The Barbados-born celebrity, whose real name is Robin Fenty, shot to prominence in the early 2000s with hits like Pon de Replay and Umbrella. She recently celebrated 20 years since the release of her first album. And moving on, global oil prices have jumped above $100 a barrel, and stock markets have slumped as the escalating U.S.-Israeli war with Iran has fueled fears of prolonged disruption to shipments through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran on Sunday named Mojtaba Khamenei to succeed his father Ali Khamenei as supreme leader, signaling that a week into the conflict, hardliners remain in charge of the country. The U.S. and Israel launched fresh waves of airstrikes across Iran over the weekend, hitting multiple targets including oil depots. Major disruption to energy supplies from the region threatens to push up prices for consumers and businesses around the world. Today morning in Asia, Brent crude was almost 18% higher at $109.25, while NYMEX, a light sweet, was up by more than 20% at $109.37. Stock markets in the Asia-Pacific region fell sharply in early today morning, with Japan's Nikkei 225 index down by more than 5%. The Kospi in South Korea slipped by more than 6%, and the ASX 200 in Australia almost 4% lower. About a fifth of the world's oil supply is usually shipped through the Strait of Hormuz, but traffic through the narrow passage has all but halted since the war started, and that was a week ago. Moving on in Kenya, where being overweight was once perceived as a sign of wealth and success, a drive to shed the pounds is now taking hold. Surgical procedures and weight loss drugs are growing in popularity, with some influencers detailing their own slimming journeys to both acclaim and criticism. At her weight loss clinic in the capital, Dr. Ludmila Shishkuna has a fully booked schedule. It has not always been this way for the Nairobi Bariatric Center, which she and her late husband, both from Ukraine, founded 3 decades ago. When it started, the facility, which Shishkuna proudly regards as a pioneer for weight loss surgery in the country, was hardly receiving any clients. But the clinic is now thriving, seeing 10 to 15 patients a day. It's a boom, the doctor tells the BBC one evening at the end of her shift. Societal pressures may be one reason for the change. Kenyans on social media are not known for holding back, and many people, both men and women, have been insultingly told to, in the Kenyan phrase, unfat, after pictures of themselves have been posted online. And let's look at what the Gazette holds this morning away from the international scene and the local scene, and notices to pay heed to there is the Marriage Act in place for celebration of marriage after the table of contents in exercise of the powers conferred upon him by Section 5 of the Marriage Act. He hereby licensed the place of public worship mentioned in the schedule here to be a place for the celebration of marriages. And the church is Chiriatete Christian Fellowship Ministries, denomination Born Again, Village Chiriatete East, Parish Southern Ward, Sub-County Kahora Division, and County Chiriatete East, District, that is Hoima, given under his hand the 12th day of February 2026, Honorable Norbert Mao, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. In another notice to pay attention to, place for celebration of marriage still in exercise of the powers conferred upon him by Section 5 of the Marriage Act. He hereby licensed the place for public worship and mentioned in the schedule here to be a place for the celebration of marriages. Church St. John's Burembo Church of Uganda, denomination Anglican, Village Burembo, Parish Nyabitete, Sub-County Bugangari, and County is Rujumbura, District Rukonjeri, given under his hand the 12th day of February 2026, Honorable Norbert Mao, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. And another place for celebration of marriage to pay heed to in exercise of the powers conferred upon him by Section 5 of the Marriage Act. He hereby licensed the place for public worship mentioned in the schedule here to be a place for the celebration of marriages. Church St. Luke Church of Uganda, Karukata Parish, denomination Anglican, Village Chanjo, Parish Ihunga, Sub-County Nyarushanje, County Rubabo, District Rukonjeri, given under his hand the 18th day of February 2026, Honorable Norbert Mao, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. And the Marriage Act, a place for celebration of marriage in exercise of the powers conferred upon him by Section 5 of the Marriage Act, he hereby licensed the place for public worship mentioned in the schedule here to be a place for the celebration of marriages, that is by the Honorable Norbert Mao, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. As we sip on our Ugandan coffee, and that is in our nature. Robert, do you always love your coffee sweet and strong, or just mild and strong?
Well, let's look at the vision first before going into that. Now we see East African community leaders adopt new tough reforms. What are the reforms? Member states to pay Yala MPs. Museveni replaces Ruto. Now we are the chair of that great community. Still moving on in the new vision, there is 136 MDAs to miss funding over gender equity and non-compliance. Then Uganda officials pay tribute to well, that is the Iranian leader, if I'm seeing well. But also still moving on in the Daily Monitor, what is there?
The Daily Monitor there says, why only 4 million Ugandans save for retirement and electronic traffic fines? Speed laws hit brick wall. And at the front page says, endangered tribes. There is the Mvoba, the Banyala, Chope. You can have a copy of the Daily Monitor. And Museveni says, women make better managers. Sounds
no wonder the vice president, if you look at the cabinet, you see the vice president, the prime minister, first I think you will have there first, it also the third,
yeah,
then come to the speaker of parliament, we survived the deputy, what isn't,
And also the State House Controller.
The State House Controller. So there are so many in the government, and of course it affirms what he said.
Okay. And yes, that is what the New Vision has today. Let's look at what the Daily Nation holds. At the front page of the Daily Nation, there is a death toll from deluge rises to 42. Flood warnings that were ignored, and beneath the Daily Nation there, as we look at the Daily Nation, ports on sale. You'll have to find it in the Daily Nation. And more to the Daily Nation still, we can see a crowd drowned in floods. There are a number of even children. It is really dangerous. And moving on to the Citizen, there, Getruda Nganywaye overseeing conservation in the Southern Highlands. And the biggest headline there at the front page is EAC reforms rekindle integration optimism, as the East African community has made a series of bold decisions aimed at stabilizing the regional bloc after months of financial strain and growing concerns about the pace of regional integration. And about the International Women's Day still, women's role in economy under the spotlight, that is within the rising woman. Still from Tanzania, Tanzanian businesses in Middle East feel the full impact of conflict, while avocado prices increase in Dar as export domestic demand jumps. That is from the Business Daily. Yeah, that is the Tanzania. Yeah, avocado prices. And with our poll question today, you can visit our X handle, that is hashtag UBCGMU. The question is, in what ways has the world recognized and valued the contributions of women in academia and industry? You can voice your thoughts on our WhatsApp number, that is 0709 602592, or you can go to our X handle, that is at UBCTV Uganda. I repeat, the question there on the daily poll is, in what ways has the world recognized and valued the contributions of women in academia and industry? Why don't we take a coffee sip with the Ugandan coffee that is in our nature as we listen to some music this Monday morning. If you're still in bed, please get up. This is a fresh start to the week. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this
of International Women's Day, and I feel incredibly inspired by the strength, the resilience and brilliance that I saw was celebrated for the women all over the world, not only in Uganda. Now let's take an unstoppable energy and make this week spectacular. You are strong out there. If you're a woman, you are very, very strong, and you are capable. You are ready to make this Monday count. And to you, our viewers, good morning and welcome to Good Morning Uganda. We come to you live from Nile Avenue. That is where our headquarters are located. So it is, do not forget that we are still in Ramadan and the Lenten season. And it is the 20th day for our brothers, the Muslims, inshallah. They have only 10 days left. And for the Christians, we do have over 20 days because ours lasts over 40 days. So join us as we take you throughout a lot of what is happening on the national or the local scene and international scene, not forgetting the business world and the sports world. We bring you the latest of all the events as they evolve, as you need to get to be in the know of what is happening all over the world. So welcome back. For those of you specifically who managed to make it at Kololo Independence Grounds here in Uganda, that is where the main celebrations for the International Women's Day took place. And we saw the Vice President who delivered the speech of the President, that is Major Retired Jessica Alupo, during the national commemoration of International Women's Day at Kololo Independence Grounds in Kampala. That was yesterday, as the President stressed that affirmative action was introduced to bring women to the forefront through measures such as awarding girls 1.5 additional points for university entry and enabling them to participate in politics. And the president stressed that they have also additional seats which they compete for, and the way
you can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro.